a joke. It became a joke, and it's not a fun feeling. And so it just got to a point where I didn't want this to be another joke where I met someone and then it didn't work out. And so, that was more about why, a lot of the stuff unfolds. And I got married at my parents' house because I went to 5 weddings this year. I asked 99% of people who have been married, did they enjoy their wedding? Most of them said no. It's exhausting and the planning. And, I also am with someone really private and he was on the same page. And so I got married in my backyard, and it sounds like backyard, but trust me, it was bougie. And I'm going to release my photos soon. I'm not releasing them on purpose. It's just I'm on a show and I want people to watch the show before I show you guys the photos.
That makes a lot of sense. So we're going to like watch the show, and then eventually when we get up to that point, you will release these photos.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something, I wanted to do along with Bravo. We want it's after all a show. You want some excitement and some suspense.
Yes, yes, and yes. I mean, well, like, right, we haven't seen him on the show. I mean, your decision, like, not to have him be on the show, like, was that, like, talk to me about that decision? Because I know, like, you've just explained why we haven't seen the pictures on social media. I guess we're gonna now once we get to that in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, patience. Having said that, I want everyone to know, like I said earlier, I was cautious myself. I didn't even introduce him to my parents till after I had lived with him because I was sick of my family, telling me like, oh, you're not married, or like, oh, look, it didn't work out, and we tend to blame women in society for why things don't work out, whether it's family, friends. They don't mean to, but it just happens that way. And second part is I'm married to someone very private, and it's all fun and games to be on a show when you're single. And then when you meet the love of your life, maybe they don't want to be on a show.
Yes.
I'm not one to force someone to not be on a show, and he doesn't want to be on the show.
I think that's good. I mean, did he know what the show was like? I mean, he's a straight guy. Does he watch Bravo? Did he know what Housewives was? Family Karma? Did he know all this when he met you?
So he did not know about our show. Obviously, he had heard of Bravo and Housewives. I think you need to be living under a rock if you haven't. I don't care who you are. If you live in America, you've definitely heard the words Bravo and Housewife. I feel like that's, what Bravo was built on, right? Yes. And everyone knows, like, if you're on social media, 99% of the memes. I mean, Taylor Armstrong's cat meme, like, you have to be living under a rock if you don't know the word Housewives and Bravo. So he knew Bravo and Housewives. He didn't know Family Karma. That I understand. That's a whole different, like, you're not sitting and watching like every single show, and you're not watching Bravo. Right. So I had to explain that to him, just like I did to every other person I dated within the first 2 sentences, because I'm not, trying to deal with someone that is uncomfortable with being with someone who is on a show. Now, whether or not you want to be on a show, that's a whole different story, but I'm going to be on a show.
Was that an issue with him of like, oh, I don't know about a second date? Like,
that's what I loved about him, because I'll be honest, I keep it real. A lot of people didn't want to date me, and it's very hard to find someone who is okay with being with someone who's on a show. And, I like to spew a lot of garbage, whether it's on the show or on podcasts, my podcast, and I like to post on social media. And, these are all things I openly enjoy doing, and it's part of my life. And someone has to be comfortable with those things, and you need to have your own thing going on. And so when he told me he thought it was so cool that I'm on a show and that he supports me in whatever I do, as long as he doesn't have to be on the show, I mean, what more can you ask for?
What more could you ask for? And I mean, that's like what Ramona Singer always says. Like, you found, like, when you were dating a lot of guys, like, it actually was a hindrance. Like, they're like, I don't want to date someone that's on a reality show.
And it was heartbreaking at times. There were a lot of times I really liked someone and they liked me, but they were like, hey, this is my deal breaker. And, that sucked.
So once you decide to, keep this part of your life private, like, we hear about housewives that, are friends of, they can't have a full-time position because, they're not showing their whole life. Like, did you then like what you call Bravo? You have to have like, what's that conversation like of like, hey, I'm just letting you know this is happening, but I really don't want this to be part of the show.
Yeah, and it wasn't really, I didn't want it to be part of the show. It was more, if something's good, don't put it on a show, you know?
Yeah.
And had a good thing. I wanted it to work out. I also didn't know if this was going to be, you know, my husband or where this was actually going to go. I wanted to be engaged, and you see that. I'm very open about that. And if he wasn't going to propose or anything, then I wasn't going to stick around. And I think it's very different when you're 38. When you're 30, 31, it's like, all right, but I'm at a point in my life now where this is my number one priority. And so I did have that conversation, and I I'm in it for when I'm in it. And when I'm in it, I'm giving it my all. But, my husband didn't sign up to be on a show. So, you know, some of the viewers may be disappointed, and that's fine. I totally understand. And, we'll see what happens in the future. But for now, I will say that, I think I provide a lot, even on my own with my mom, my family, and that's what we signed up for initially. And, things change in life. You don't know if you're going to get married while you're on a show.
Was Bravo upset? Were they like, did they try to get you to, change your mind? Like, let's have this be part of the show, or they?
I think Bravo is amazing. And since day one, I can speak for Family Karma. If you're uncomfortable with something, this is your life. And they know that. They also know our culture. And, they make their decisions because at the end of the day, they're a business. But, to just not put me on the show, I think that would do the viewer a disservice and my story for at least this season.
Yes. Why do
That's what
you?
I could speak of for this season. I don't know about moving forward, but I think it wouldn't be good for them or the viewer or me for all the work and everything I have shown everyone.
Yeah, and we knew you as a single person for 2 seasons, and just have, I mean, this really is the next step, that kudos to you for making your actual marriage your first priority. Not everyone does when it comes to reality TV. Like, to your point, I mean, do you worry? Well, I guess if you continue on the show in future seasons, like, do you think we will ever see your husband? Like, is that something you've thought about?
I mean, does the viewer want to see someone say hello and then leave? Because he's also like, what is he going to bring to the table if someone's shy, doesn't want to be on TV, and is working a lot? Like, what